Hi, it's good to be with you today. I'm going to tell you a story. It should never have been. He should not have been born this way. He should be free, born under an African sun with the hot breeze of the Sahara on his back, born in a tribe of free men with heads held high in the dignity that freedom brought. But he was born a slave, born in a cotton plantation on the Mississippi Delta. It was never meant to have been this way. He was meant to be free. He should have grown to become a man by hunting down a lion or chasing down a gazelle. He should have known what it was to have seen the huge African sun pierce its way into the dawn and rise to glory over African plains. But he was born a slave. He limped. A fierce beating from his cruel owner had left his right leg broken. No good for the cotton field. He was made to do dirty work around the farm, cleaning stables, emptying latrine buckets, any work his own demanded of him. He lived bent, broken, bowed in permanent fear as he became the butt of his master's savage anger again and again and again. He heard of a civil war, a war where white men from the north fought white men from the south to bring freedom for black slaves. This was beyond his wildest imagination. White men fighting for him to set him free. Smoke rose, cannons roared, guns blazed in the distance as the fighting drew near. Suddenly, through the smoke, two soldiers, one clearly an older man, the other younger, raced into the farmyard. They were from the north. They were here to set him free. He ran, limping towards them, his back broken and bleeding from yet another beating under his master's whip that morning. He fell at their feet, filled with dread and mixed with hope at the same time. From them came a love he could never have thought possible from white men. One bent over him and cradled him in his arms. The younger one drew his own water bottle and held it to his lips. As he drank thirstily, the soldier then poured oil over his bleeding back and gently dabbed and made a bandage with cloth for his wounds. Could a white man love like this? Could it be true that freedom would come from men so gentle as these? His heart hoped. A loud and devastating cry rang out. From the corner of his vision, he saw his master charge across the yard. Hatred filled the air as he saw his master's saber curve through the air. Time telescoped as swift moments turned into eternity. The master's blade seemed to draw darkness and hatred from the oppressive air of the battle all around. The saber curved downwards in a vicious arc and sliced deeply into the bared neck of the young soldier who was tending his wounds. With an agonized cry, the young man looked helplessly towards the old soldier and breathed his last. Time stopped. The old man swiftly raised his own cutlass and ran the wicked taskmaster through. He dropped down to the ground, dead from the power and justice of the old soldier's thrust. The old soldier held the dead trooper in his arms and quietly began to sob. The slave looked on, unable to help, as he watched this man grieve over his fallen young comrade. "My son," he whispered. "My son, my son, my son." The derelict cry of a father in grief rang as a death wail over that battle scene. Slowly time moved again. The old war hand looked up at the slave. Tears coursed white streams down his more muddied cheeks, and he smiled at the slave. "You are free," he said. "You can go. You are free." The soldier stood and began to walk away. The slave watched him as he began to trudge through the farmyard. Free? But he'd never known love like this. Free? How it was always meant to be, but love like this should be pursued. Free? But the smile of the old soldier was all he wanted to know for the rest of his life. Free? But he wanted to follow and know this soldier. He wanted to be free, to be his slave. He rose, and in those eternal moments, he firmly and decisively planted his feet in the footprints of the old trooper and followed him. The soldier sensed the slave following and stopped in his tracks. He slowly turned, and as he turned, again moments of time collapsed into eternity. For as the slave looked, what he saw was not the old soldier, but the radiant smile of his fallen young son. Amazement and bright joy rushed in a flood through his heart, and he turned back to see the body of the dead trooper, and to his wonder, there was no one there. The soldier beckoned. The free man followed. Romans chapter 6, verse 11. In the same way, count yourselves dead to sin, but alive to God in Christ Jesus. Therefore, do not let sin reign in your mortal body to obey its evil desires. Do not offer your bodies or any part of yourself to sin as an instrument of wickedness, but rather offer yourself to God as those who have been brought from death to life, and offer every part of yourself as an instrument of righteousness. For sin shall no longer be your master, because you are not under law, but you are under grace. You have been set free from sin and have now become slaves to righteousness. God bless. Have a great day.